Hi, my name is Roselyn, and I go by Rosie. And just want to share a little bit of my story. I was born and raised in Chicago, and my parents came at a young age from Puerto Rico. I have nine siblings, and I was born and raised in the church. My father is a pastor. Uh, well, he resigned, but I don't think a pastor ever resigns from being a pastor, right?
Mm.
And so, um, born, raised in the church, loving Jesus as a young girl. And, we have an enemy out there that wants to destroy our lives. And as a teenager, um, I fell away and, just kind of did my own thing. I was angry because my parents had gotten divorced at the age of 9. And I was a daddy's girl. And that just tore me apart. So as I got older, I just rebelled. I was very angry with the Lord as to why I would blame the Lord. Why did my parents have to get divorced? But anyway, as a young adult, I came back. Um, there came a point in my life that I just knew I needed Jesus. And I remember meeting Jesus, not personally, but having that encounter at a play. And I remember telling the Lord, uh, I never want to go back to the way I used to be, And from that day forward in 1993, my life has changed. And years, I went to college at Lee University, and once I graduated from there, I met my husband, and we've been married for 22 years. We have a beautiful daughter, a beautiful, amazing 13-year-old daughter, and that we have been blessed with. I always say that she's our gift from the Lord. Um, so it's been quite the journey for me, knowing that God is the center of everything I am and everything I do, and my relationship with the Lord has been one of growth, one of just trusting in Him, and it's been a time of just getting to know God in a different level. We we moved to Texas in 2011, and we were out there for about 7 years and came back. And we're back here in Chicago. And we're here because we know that God has called us back for a reason. There's a purpose, and our desire is to fulfill, God's plan. And we just want to do His will. So this is just a little bit about me.
Well, I would like to say I remember the first day I met you. Um,
I remember too.
I remember that. So hopefully our stories align.
Right.
um, so what I remember was it was like a picnic or some kind of something where we were at a park. I know that. Is that what you're thinking?
I remember being in front of the church. You had just gotten back from Florida.
Oh, I
And
don't know.
and
But I'm thinking about a park that we were at,
okay.
and I was okay. So I was friends with your hubby. Um, I was friends with him since we were little. Like we all went to church together. We grew up together, and so him and his sisters were some of my excuse me, some of my best friends growing up. And I remember that when he was telling me that, oh, so I met this girl, blah blah blah, and all that. I said, oh yeah. Well, I have to approve of her, obviously. So anyway, I remember meeting you and just seeing the dynamic between you and his family and everybody, and I was thinking, wow, it's like she's been part of the family forever. So I don't know, did you know them before?
No, the thing is that I knew their cousin Mimi, who's a very good friend of mine.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And so it was through her that I met Jose's sister. And through Jose's sister is how I met my husband.
Okay.
Mhm.
So anyway, I remember the park, and then I remember seeing you again at church. And when I had come back from Florida, your hubby always seems to Jose always seems to want to take credit that he somehow saved my life, because I was going down this horrible path in Florida and all of that. So he says that he talked me off the ledge, and I came back to Chicago and whatever, and everything was grand after that. Um, but anyway, instantly I thought, well, this girl, I feel like I've known her forever, and you were like, you just have such a, you have like such a, I don't know if the word I'm going to use is going to sound really weird, but a familiar feeling. Does that
Mm.
make sense? Like I've known you forever, and she's family. It's, you just have that, and you have that kind of I don't know, just that sweet family feel.
Well, we do know each
Oh,
other
yeah,
for forever, pretty much
yeah.
now. But I
Well,
remember
for
I remember a conversation that we had in front of the church, and you were like, "Oh, so you're
really,
Jose's." You're like, "Oh, so you're Jose's girlfriend," and I'm Jeanette, and I'm his other sister. 'Cause
the thing is that I really wanted. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I was like, I really don't want to like her. But not that I, no, I'm sorry. It's not that I didn't want to like you. It's that I was like trying to see, is she really the one for him?
You're
Mhm.
So
testing
I was,
him.
yeah, I was kind of like with my little, and then it was like, oh no, she's great. So
So hopefully I passed the test.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Good
After
thing you guys
22
have been
years, I
married.
hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
I honestly, Rosie, I first of all, calling you Rosie is odd for me because I like to call you Roselyn because I love your name in Spanish.
Thank you.
So even Roselyn is not familiar to me, but I know that I have permission to call
Yes.
you either of those. But I don't remember a specific day. I do remember though I think the first time that I really noticed your voice, just noticing like, because the voice before that was always prominent was our pastora, so that, that's the voice that you just kind of, the flock just get to know, right? But I remember you had a solo, at that point, you were on the worship team, had a solo. And I'm listening. I wish I were really good at remembering names of the songs, but I'm not. But I remember I heard you and I stopped. You have that moment where like, oh, wait a minute. It's different. It's a different voice than what I always gravitated toward. Um, but it was such a soothing
Mhm.
worship. It was just kind of a, and I think that's the way you speak anyway. You really have a soothing voice. But I remember just stopping in my tracks and like, oh my gosh. So even to this day, 20 something years later, um, it's I remember when you came back, and this is where the tears start, right? Because after being gone for 7 years, I remember the first time I heard you when you were back on the worship team. And it was, oh my gosh, it just took me back to when church was smaller,
Mm.
when church was um, where everybody knew each other's names, and they knew their stories together. And and you obviously we served in ministry, women's ministry for eons together as well. And it just took me back to that. So there's a comfort that comes with you, And so anyway, bottom line, I'm really just glad that you're back, and it helps me stay connected to the origins of my own story, with Jesus. So anyway, somebody else talk while I dry my tears.
Well, I wanted to say, I remember meeting Daisy, right? And seeing her at the church, and I was always very intimidated by her. And so we had a tent service outside. I don't know if you remember this. And I was like, I am going to suck it up and I'm going to go say hi to her. Because of her, like I knew of her, but we never had that relationship. And I just remember going right to her and just talking to her. And I don't know if you remember that, but yeah, that was my moment with Daisy there.
Well, I remember I walked into church the first time. It was our first Sunday there. And you and Jose were having a special. You were singing and he was playing the trumpet. And I knew Jose.
Oh.
So when he started playing the trumpet, it was like, wow. But then when you started singing, I was like, oh my gosh, who is that? That like blew my mind. To this day, I still can remember the church, how it looked, how you and Jose were up there. I mean, I just remember every minute of that. And then we were so blessed to go out to eat after church, and I got to know you. But when I really fell in love with you is when we were in choir, and we had this affinity for coffee, and you would always bring your coffee to choir, right? And I would smell it, I'd be like, oh, your coffee smells so good. But one week you brought me a cup of coffee, and I was like, I love this. Oh, this girl. I love this girl. And not only that, being able to sit by you and listen to, like Daisy said, that beautiful alto voice that you have, just so beautiful. That was my Rosie. That's, and not only that, I mean, we have a million more memories in between, that day and today. But yeah, you captured my heart with coffee.
Oh. So sweet, as she does. Roselyn, I really want to ask you, when you think of her time, and this assignment that we have before us as a group of friends, what's your hope? What is your prayer here?
I think I've always had a heart for women. I think coming back from Texas, right before coming back, I remember asking the Lord, excuse me, crying out to the Lord, because I wasn't involved over there like I was here. And I longed for women. Like I longed to connect with women once again. And now this opportunity has come up, and my hope is that I can walk this journey of life with women, that together we can find encouragement, that together we could find hope, that together we can pray, and just let women know that God, no matter your situation, no matter what you're confronted with, He's your hope. He is everything. He's present in your life. And I want women to know that. I want women to know the power of God and how much He loves them.
Amen. Well, thank you. Thank you for allowing us to get to know you a little bit better. Thank you all.